Hello everyone, Jay here. We are back with another featured duel. This time around, the matchup is going to be Speedroid versus Adventure Prank Kids DPE. I was very excited to go up against this deck because I wanted to see how this deck does against Prank Kids. So the last video that we did, it was from the beginning of March. It was a duel that I had against Adventure ABC DPE. So this time around we're going against, the deck that won YCS, and we have a different approach to kind of counter the meta coming up. The format that we have now that DPE has been released, Outbass Strike. So a key difference with my build this time around is that my hand trap lineup does not include 3 of anything. So I was running a 45 card deck where I ran 3 of 4 different cards, maybe 5 different cards. No, it was 3 of 4 different cards. And I thought, you know what? It's kind of bad. It really is. I just kept pulling 2 Ashes, 2 Ogres, 2 Bells. Once per turn, horrible. Can't have that. But that being said, I think for this game, what I'm currently running are 2 Ash, 2 Bell, 2 Ogre, 2 Nib, and perhaps 2 Imperm in this game. But it could very much well be 2 Lancia. So I can talk at length about the hand trap lineup that I have and what I'm doing with my side deck these days, but instead we're just going to go ahead and go into the match. So thank you so much for viewing. Let's get into what happens. Do you ever get so deep into a recording and creating content that towards the end you realize that you never switch scenes and that you only recorded yourself talking with none of the gameplay? All right, so game 1, we are going to talk about the opening hand here. So really good stuff. I can work through 2 different hand traps. I really can. This is really good stuff. I have a starter. I have 2 extenders. I have something that recovers, which, go figure, its name is Speed Recovery. And my opponent's deck is, their hand, is not too bad. 2 Nibs, you probably would have liked to have seen something else. Perhaps a Prank Kids monster, but I guess that doesn't matter with Prank Kids place, and I'm never going to ash that anyway. So we're just going to go ahead and step into what I would do, which is to normal summon the Ultra Hound. So we head into the main phase and we're going to normal summon the Ultra Hound. We're going to dump the Duplicate. Duplicate is going to target Ultra Hound, so we can special summon itself out as a level 1 tuner, level modulate Ultra Hound into a level 2, and go into High Speedroid Cork Shooter. Okay, great. Cork Shooter is going to do the only thing that I really can plausibly do, which is to add a Speedroid spell or trap to my hand. It will be, Duplicate would not be optimal here. There are instances in which you do bring the second Duplicate into your hand, and this is not one of them. It really isn't. Pick up the deck and you'll find out why. So we're going to go ahead and bring Wheel into our hand, and we're going to use Wheel to pitch the Card Turbo, because if I want to get a special summon out there, it's going to be Talkatomborg. It's not going to be Card Turbo. Just in case I'm able to use Ogre, we roll a 2, and that's not bad. We can go into just Hogoida here because the plan is to go Talkatomborg and then special it out for Daco Duke, and then Daco Duke Hogoida to go into Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. However, this was the 5th summon. Level 5 means that's how many summons it's been. I'm pretty sure that's the logic behind it. So there we go. Nibiru. If you're up against the Speedroids and you see Hogoida come out and it's the only card on the field, you can very rest assured know that Speedroid player has another card in their hand that they can special summon out. Let that Speedroid player special summon out that card, then you can Nibiru. Then you can do that. But, besides that, like, this is a really good hand anyway because I have Speed Recovery and I also have Daco Duke in my graveyard. You should really hold off on your Nibiru until Daco Duke is used to special summon out, especially if Hogoida is going to go into the graveyard at some point. Because if Daco Duke can special summon out that tuner, Hogoida comes back out and you get to continue play. And that's exactly what we're going to see here. The token is created, Speed Recovery. I'm not going to use Daco Duke to bring out the Cork Shooter. It's just going to be Speed Recovery. Let's not oversimplify things. And we're going to use Hogoida to special summon. We're going to go into Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. We're going to use Takatombo to tribute itself out and special summon out the Fuki-modoshi Piper. Why are we doing this? Well, simply for the fact that... Oh, I never got out the Dago Duke. Yeah, I never got out the Dago Duke, so please ignore that earlier. We go into the fuki-modoshi Piper because we can't go into Dago Duke here. Because it's not going to do anything. It's just going to be a body that's out there. So instead, I'm just going to go for top deck magic. There is one wind monster. I'm going to excavate a card, and it's just a draw. I get to draw a card. So what's the top deck magic going to be, huh? Magic, card turbo. I haven't used this effect to special summon out. Ogre won't be used. That's fine. I don't care. Card turbo, special summon out, and then we're going to go into rubber band shooter. Great, rubber band shooter, going to shoot the 3, and I'm going to do something here pretty risky. But I go for Stardust Charge Warrior for the risk. With going for Chambara, you don't have a building risk, but with Stardust Charge Warrior, you do. Because I am targeting Denden Dago Duke and Terratop. We get the Dago Duke. I don't like that. What could have happened is that I get Terratop in my hand and Dago Duke into the graveyard. I normal summon out the Terratop. I bring Red Eye Dice into my hand using Terratop's effect. And then I use Denden Dago Duke to banish to special summon out that Red Eye Dice and then go into place from there. I can create a Juju. So that'll be Resilience and a very powerful monster negate and destroy. Also something that you don't want to battle. Just don't battle it. However, a very well-placed nib means that all my resources do get cut short, and then I lucked out, if you lucked out is a good thing. So if you lucked in, that's a bad thing. Whatever it is, I don't get the Terratop into my hand. What I should have done was Terratop or Marble Machine. This Marble Machine was special summoned out using Speedroid Wheel. So if I use the effect of normal summon, then I get to bring another card into my hand. But I think while I was making the decision to go for Charge Warrior is that what do I bring into my hand with Marble Machine anyway? Like what do I do? Because I've already used Takatombo, I've already used Card Turbo. There's nothing else I can special summon out. Not no Speedroid monster. So Terratop and Dago Duke was really my only play. It was really my only option. So to see Dago Duke go into my hand kind of sucks, but I do use the effect to normal summon. Why? Because I want my opponent to put the Dago Duke into the graveyard. So we'll find out why later. They top deck Ash. Also, they had Forbidden Droplet. So it's going to make things a little difficult for me here. And I'm thinking, okay, Prank Kids, that kind of sucks. But let's see what happens here. Gonna go into Fansies, gonna go into Meow Meow Moo. And then Fansies and Prank Kids Place are gonna use their effects. And then special summon out the Dropsies, and then a Prank Kids Pranks is gonna go into the graveyard. So really good stuff. It's gonna go into a Link 2. That's gonna be Dodo Doodle Doo. So right here, we see the mistake that the opponent made. They don't need to chain the way that they did. Should have been chain link 1 here on the Doodle Doo and chain link 2 on the Meow Meow Moo. Instead, chain link 1, Meow Meow Moo, chain link 2, Doodle Doo. That means I get to chain on top of the Doodle Doo. And a very well placed Ogre means that they can't really go into very much else except for bringing in the Pandemonium, and they still get the special. They get the 1000 life, and they get to special summon out the Lampsies. So not exactly the best chaining that they could have done, and I think they learned that the hard way. I'm pretty sure they did. So they're going to use Fusion Destiny and bring out the DPE, and then they're going to go into battle phase. DPE is going to swing over the Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and it can't attack modulate because, you know, Forbidden Droplet is a card, and so it goes into the graveyard. Nibiru is going to swing over to the Rubber Band Shooter. I take a good chunk of damage here, and then go into main phase 2, going to set the Prank Kids Pandemonium, and DPE is going to activate to destroy itself and Denden Dago Duke. Very good. DPE is going to use its effect to special summon out during my standby phase. And I top draw a Marble Machine. That is pretty good. That is pretty good. DPE goes back out. I normal summon, uses effect. They're thinking, okay, no more cards in his hand. However, they need to consider the graveyard. What do I have in here? I have a Banish to special summon a Speedroid Tuner. I have, if I have a Speedroid tuner, a card that can special summon itself out from the graveyard. I have Speed Recovery, which I can add a card to from the graveyard to my hand. So if you're up against a Speedroid player, you definitely need to do something that'll interrupt or lock your opponent out of their graveyard. So Abyss Dweller, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. So we're going to move forward. Marble Machine will not resolve. Speedroid Recovery, or Speed Recovery, is going to banish itself to bring Takatomborg into my hand. DPE is going to, so my opponent was trying to play this smart. They really were. Destroy the Marble Machine because I no longer have a Wind Monster. Takatomborg can't special summon itself out. But hey, man, like, that wasn't my plan here anyway. What I'm going to do is banish the Deco Duke, get out the Cork Shooter, special summon out the Goida, and then one of my good cards, one of my good friends, Kite Drake, destroy all their cards on the field. Special summon out the Takatomborg, and now I'm going to use Ultra Hound to shuffle fuki-modoshi Piper back into the deck. And then I'm going to special summon out the Speedroid Puzzle, which I'm starting to like even more and more, just so much more. And then I'm going to use Takatomborg to special summon out the Red Eye Dice, and then we're going to go into Chambara. I'm not going to use Red Eye Dice to level modulate. And then I'm going to activate, what was that? Hello? What was that? Oh, I'm just going to activate Card Turbo to banish itself and Takatomborg to gain 800 and swing for 3,000, swing for 3,200, and then swing for 3,800. OTK. Really good stuff. So heading into game 2, I'm thinking about my side deck. It's going to be Gamma and Driver. Absolutely. It's going to be Kaiju. Those cards, I think, are incredibly strong against this deck, just for how I want to play. I really love Kaiju, and with this deck, it's so good for going Kaiju, because when I throw the Kaiju out there and get rid of that one problematic card that'll just do too much to me, Kite Drake is then going to destroy the Kaiju, bring it into my graveyard, and then Kaiju can be used as fodder for Juju, it can be used for Duplicate, it can be used for, I think, just those two cards. Yeah, I think that's about it. But still, good enough, fair enough. Let's go ahead and move into game 2. So we'll know that a Prank Kids player will want to go first. So definitely sided so that I can go second. And luckily, I see some going second cards and 2 bricks. So hopefully, I really got to play it out. I was telling myself, hey, don't get greedy with the Ash. Don't get greedy with the Gamma. Cool off. Let's see what they're going to do. Let's do the best that we can. But luckily, they also don't draw the best. They could have gone with, a Fusion Destiny, but they don't really get that. So let's go ahead and go forward. What are they going to do? They're going to use Prank Kids Place. Use this effect to bring in the Lampsies. And then normal summon out the Fansies to go into Meow Meow Mew. Fansies is going to try to activate its effect. And right here, this is where I think, okay, use their normal summon. And they perhaps have cards that they can special summon from their hand, but because it can special summon from deck, Ash gets to say, nah. So honestly, right there, ends their turn, passes it over to me. Really well placed Ash. Not really a whole lot that the Prank Kids player could have done there, unfortunately. So it just goes over to me, and really the onus is on. This is my game to lose. This is my game to lose. Maybe, because I also did not draw very well. It's 2 bricks. So I gotta hope I draw the 1-card engine. Luckily, the gods are on my sides. I do get Ultra Hound. So Ultra Hound, gonna normal summon. We're gonna dump the Duplicate. Duplicate, gonna target Ultra Hound, special summon itself out as a level 1. Ultra Hound goes to level 2. We're gonna go into Cork Shooter. We've seen this before. Cork Shooter. Now, Speedroid Wheel. No matter what, I will get 1 card to go out there with the Cork Shooter using Wheel. No matter what. Why? It's simply because Red Eye Dice is in my hand. And if it was in the deck, for sure, it will always go out there and probably level modulate. But I mean, at that point, it won't really do anything because they're 2 tuners, right? So I won't use wheel to pitch the red-eye dice. I'm going to pitch the side frame driver because, you know, obviously you can, well, we all know what gamma does, right? So we're going to special summon out, and we land on a 5. Thank God we land on a 5, because that is Marble Machine and Dendendeko Duke. You want to get the Dendendeko Duke. You want to use it. You want to go into a Goida. That is 5 means 5 summons. Nibiru. And I don't know why I did this. I attributed out the Hagoida before the Nibiru resolved. I'm not really sure why I did that. I really don't know why. Because if later on in the play I wanted to use its effect to level modulate by tributing itself, then I wouldn't have that available to me anymore. And I guess I wanted the token to not be as strong, like a little bit stronger. I'm not really sure why I did that, but I did. Token is created, 1500, 100. Now we're going to banish the Dendendeko Duke to bring out the Cork Shooter. And then Hagoida is going to special summon itself back out anyway. And then we go into Kite Drake. Kite Drake, destroy all their cards. Go into battle phase. We're going to swing for 3000. Cool. We're going to end phase because there's not a lot that we can do here. So what I want here, current game state, is for Kite Drake to leave the field. It's not doing anything. And if it leaves the field and goes to the graveyard, I get Terror Top. That's what Kite Drake does. So I want my opponent to destroy it and send it to the graveyard. But if it leaves the field, fair enough. Why? Because it opens up to an interruption. So instead, they open up Rite of Aramis here, and this is a very easy bounce. So I won't get that other Speedroid monster into my hand. You know, happens. We're just going to go forward, see what happens. Create the token. Fateful Adventure activate. Bring the Wandering Griffin Rider. Going to pitch the Dropsies. And then normal summon the Dropsies to bring the Draco back. Draco back to hand, and then equip it to the token. Draco back effect, bounce to Kite Drake. Yep. And then Wandering Griffin Rider is going to activate. I'm pretty sure when you activate Draco back, you can activate Wandering Griffin Rider on top. And I can't use Gamma because when resolution begins, Kite Drake is still going to be out there. So Wandering Griffin Rider will special summon itself out. So I think my opponent could have chained this on top of Draco back so that I don't have access to Gamma. So instead what happens is that Wandering Griffin Rider is activated, and then I chain Gamma. Negate and destroy. And for some reason I bring this out into attack position. I think I had meant to bring this into attack position because that can't attack over it. But you know, whatever. We're going to step forward. We're going to go into Link Spider, and then with Link Spider and Dropsies, going to go into Predaplant Vert, Anaconda. So, it's going to pay 2000 and bring out the DPE, which is a little unfortunate, but the opponent is, you know, prepping up to deal with Super Poly by destroying its Predaplant Vert, Anaconda, and my driver, so that they can swing into battle. Yep, do a good amount of damage there. Not too bad. So DPE is pretty good against my deck because I am kind of reliant on the field sometimes, having a monster out there. But it doesn't really matter if there's a kaiju looming around. So we're going to move forward. The very first thing I do is say, here, I have a gift for you. It's a big bug. Then I'm going to special summon out my Primitive Butterfly. I don't control any monsters. Very good stuff. Ultra Hound is going to banish itself to targets, I do believe is the Hagoida. Yep, and go into Charmbara. Can't use its effects, so then I normal summon Red Eye Dice, and I'm going to go into Hagoida right here. And then, oh, I do something else first. Oh, Chambara, right. When Chambara is sent to the graveyard, I get to target a Speedroid card that is banished and add it to my hand. So we're going to go for Ultra Hound. And right here, it's kind of an interesting move, but what I do is go into Rubber Band Shooter, and I feel safe about it. Because if on my turn they didn't use any hand traps, like they truly just did not open up very well, Ash destroyed them, and then they didn't use any hand traps on my turn, I can feel rest assured that what's in here is not a hand trap. It won't be Ash. Besides, I'd already seen my opponent bring Lampseas to hand and then not send it anywhere else. If there's only one card left and I saw them bring Lampsies to hand, there's no form of interaction that my opponent has. Also, is that Rite of Aramesir was top decked. It had to have been, because there's no way turn one they open Rite of Aramesir and they're like, I don't need this. So I feel very comfortable using Rubber Band Shooter here. We're going to step forward. We're going to banish Stardust Charge Warrior, as mostly I usually do. I bring Takatomborg into my hand, and then Card Turbo goes into the graveyard randomly. Remember that, randomly. Special summon out the Takatomborg. Doesn't matter which one I special summon out at this point, because they don't have any form of interruption. So I tribute to special summon out the Dendendeko Duke, which I'd already used its effect earlier, but I mean, having it in your graveyard anyway is always a good thing. So we're going to step forward. We're going to go into Mecha Beast Auroradon. Auroradon, its effect, I'm going to use to tribute that token and destroy the Kaiju, which is fantastic. I love that. Dekotuk. Oh, looks like I actually do have its banish because I used it. Yeah, I used it turn 2. Okay, never mind. Banish, special summon out the Cork Shooter. What I'm going to do is go into Juju here, and this is kind of just a series of disrespectful events, which is I'm going to use Juju to banish the Kaiju and the Butterfly because they're both wind insects, right? And we're just going to send this to the graveyard. It's not doing anything. They don't have any interruption. I'm just doing that, and then this is game, but I'm just going to go ahead and go for Card Turbo, banish, and just go for overkill. And that's game. That is how I beat Adventure Prank Kids DPE. The hand trap lineup, I think, was very clever on Leo's part to let me know that is what's going on. You don't get to brick as often, and by brick I mean just like not see two of the same kind. And it's especially really cool in decks that have those one card engines: Ultra Hound, Marble Machine, Terror Top. We have those in Speedroids. But sometimes, it can be a little bit of a luck thing, and, hoping that they don't have Imperm or Effect Veiler for your Rubber Band Shooter, or Ash for that case. The Ash being the biggest one. Ash is huge. As well as Ogre. If you Ogre Rubber Band Shooter, I hate you. Don't do that. Don't do that. So there it was. That is my featured duel. Thank you so much for tuning in for this. I hope you were able to get some helpful insight as to what I was doing with the Speedroid, just insight into the meta in general. I really do love talking about the meta and things that come up with my buddy Leo. If there is some interest, sound off into the comments for us to start a podcast. We have already talked about it before. We recorded one episode, and I was like, you know what? This is kind of boring, and also the audio is bad, so we're just going to cut that, and then move on to the next, to a different podcast at another time. So that's definitely something that we're going to be doing. Hopefully, I don't know if we both got time for it at some point. But just as important, if you did like this content, you want to see more of it, please leave a like. Please subscribe. I really appreciate that so much. I'm really excited to really commit and dive into this Yu-Gi-Oh content creation. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I love planning these things out. I love balancing my career around this hobby, and I'm excited to go to YCS in July. My first ever cumulative, maybe playing a year and a half of this game and already thinking about going for the YCS. So yeah, I love playing Speedroids. Perhaps one or two more featured duels of Speedroid before I move on to Sword Soul, my preferred deck, my main deck. But really, it's going to be Adventure Tennis. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Happy Wednesday.